Hello, soul family. Welcome to the With Love podcast. Thank you so much for spending time here together with us. You mean so much to me. I really appreciate you. Today, we have Dani Dillard chatting about alignment, energy, Akashic records, journaling, and embodying our higher self. This is a fantastic episode. I know you're going to enjoy it. But before we jump into this episode, I have an announcement. Just a tiny little thing to talk about here. So, a few weeks ago, I mentioned that I'll be releasing 2 chats a week. That was a little much. So I've realized that I cannot commit to that right now. I'm still kind of figuring this whole process out. So as of now, I'll be releasing one interview every Monday. And every other week, I'll be releasing a chat on Thursday. So definitely tune in twice a week, almost twice a week still. Every other week though, so it'll be a little bit better. Let me know what you think about that. Definitely check out the show notes on this episode. We're gonna have everything in there for you to check out Dani. And I just appreciate you guys working with me and understanding that this is a little bit of a trial and error, exploring things out in the podcasting world. So, reminder, like I said, today, check out the links about the chat. We have them all in the show notes. And then give Dani some love on there. So, we have a treat in this episode. We have Dani guiding us through a meditation for grounding. So, we kick it off with that in the beginning of this show. And I think, actually, no, I know you're going to like this episode. I think it's going to resonate with you. It's going to hit a chord. It definitely did for me. So let's dive into this beautiful chat. I love you guys. Hello, soul family, and welcome to the With Love podcast. Today we have Dani Dillard, and she is an energy alignment coach, the yogi asking questions and adding play to each day. Thank you so much for being here and spending the time with us today. I really appreciate this. And I want you to guide us through a little grounding meditation. I hear your beautiful voice on Instagram. Love that you're being able to do this with us today.
Yeah, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here, and I would love to kick us off with a grounding meditation. So we'll just dive right into it. So wherever you are in the world, go ahead and sit up tall, stacking your shoulders over your hips, and take 3 long, slow, deep breaths into the body. With each in-breath, allow yourself to expand and create space. With each exhale, relax a little more deeply into yourself and into this moment. Letting the breath be a gentle guide inward. Remembering that breath is spirit flowing through you. And how deeply you are breathing is how deeply you are living. So focusing on the breath, noticing as you focus on the breath, you're actually training your focus. Focus becomes magic. What are you focusing right now on in life? If you even visualize your hands molding clay, what are you creating in your life right now? How does it feel to be a creator? How does it feel to share your creations with the world? How do you do this right now, and how do you want to do this? Again, feeling the clay in your hands, breathing as you visualize what you're creating in your present moment. Are you in alignment with what you're creating and putting out into the world? Bringing the breath back into the body, bringing the breath down into the feet and breathing into the feet to ground yourself into this present moment and into this body on this earth. Inviting you to set an intention. Yes, even as simply just part of the audience of this call, you're co-creating with us. So how do you want to show up to the next hour or so? You create it. And when you're ready, opening your eyes and coming back. How do you feel, Beatrice?
I feel at peace. That's the best word I can find right now.
That's beautiful. That was totally channeled. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I could feel like I communicate a lot with non-physical guides and my higher self. And I could feel that they were wanting to take me into this visualization with the audience of like, what are we creating? What's the clay that we're molding right now with our focus? And so I just trusted that. Yeah, but I feel really grounded and present and just excited to be here with you.
Dani, thank you so much for sharing that with us. That was so beautiful. And I'll tell you, from the beginning, my heart rate was up there. I was really excited for this call. And I went from like, being maybe a little bit too much to being at peace and centered and bringing my awareness back to where we're at right now. So I really appreciate that.
Totally, like dropping the buzziness down into the body, and even by like visualizing ourselves creating, we use a little bit of that energy, right? Like I know we're going to get into a lot more about like channeling energy and possibly my story and wherever this goes, but I had a lot of anxiety for a lot of my life and always had this like really buzzy energy that I couldn't ground, I couldn't do anything with. So now even using simple tools like meditation and visualization, I like bring that buzziness from like my headspace like down into the body and channel it creatively.
I can so relate to that. I really can, because there's times where I can feel this flutteriness, this lightheartedness, which is absolutely beautiful and it's well-serving at times, but there's also needing to be grounded in the moment and at peace also. So having control of the two really makes such a big difference. And has meditation been a big practice for you?
Yes, I've been meditating pretty much every day for probably about 4 years. Sometimes have showed up probably a little bit more fully to my meditation practice and meditating even 90 minutes a day. But now I'm just squeezing in about 10 minutes, 20 minutes. But also, because I do a lot of channeling, I'm shifting into higher vibrational states of consciousness when I'm channeling. So, and I'm sure we're going to talk a lot more about that in the next hour, but that's even being in a really meditative space, because you can't receive downloads from like the cosmic spirit realms unless you're in that soft receiving mode. And so even then I'm probably channeling, 10 hours a week. So that's the meditation time too. Yeah.
I really like that you said that meditation wasn't only this kind of quiet space where you're trying to quote unquote clear your thoughts, because meditation can be so much more than that. I really enjoy that you put words to it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different kinds of meditation. Like, I'm a really big fan of using really simple tools. And that's what I do in my coaching and my own soul sessions with myself. Really simple tools, but dropping like 50 layers deeper with them, right? So taking something like meditation and doing timeline healing, doing inner child meditation, doing somatic meditations like into the body, doing chakra balancing meditations, like just dropping deeper and deeper and deeper. So meditation is one of my favorite tools, and it's free and it's powerful. And I love to pair that with journaling, but you're so right. There's so many different kinds. Like I even love just walking meditations in nature.
Oh, that is so, I love that. Meditation out in nature. I feel like that's a totally different aspect to it because we're nature itself and seeing just wildness, greening, it can be such a different perspective going from maybe you're in an office during the day, maybe you're inside, and then going outside, seeing everything just being is so grounding.
You know what I love about nature and what I'm like picturing even as I close my eyes and hear you speak about this is how small it reminds me that I am, right? That I'm just a speck like on a planet rotating in the middle of space. And that reminds me that like nothing matters. Just do it, Danielle. Just go for it. Like you're creating your life anyways. Why not create your dreams? Like who the fuck cares?
Yes, like you said right before we got on this call, I love that you said it's a fuck it attitude.
Right, right. That's right. Yeah. I was telling Beatrice right before we got on the call, I was like, okay, there's nothing that's like off limits for us to talk about. Like I have a pretty expanded comfort zone. I don't have a lot of edges. So like any corner that we walk into today, I'm open to walking into it. And I was like, it's pretty much just like my fuck it attitude. Like, let's do this.
Yes, I love it so much. Such a nice open door to have. I want you to take us a little time traveling. Can you take us back a little bit before you would say you had maybe a quote unquote shift where you're able to decondition? Because I know this is a journey, but do you remember maybe a point in time that sparked you that was maybe a catalyst for you to go on this?
Oh, totally. If I circle back, so I'm 30 now. If I circle back about 4 years, I believe it was, I hit kind of a breaking point. It was New Year's Eve in New York City, and I took so much Molly that I was completely in a state of psychosis, disconnected from my body, didn't know where I was, who I was, and ended up spending basically a week in bed after that experience and just had some of the lowest thoughts I've ever had in my entire life and have never really beat myself up that hard. And that was the month, that January. So yeah, about 4 years ago, I was like, okay, like I'm ready to change my life, but like I'm really ready. Like I'm really, really, really ready, right? I had probably said I was ready for like the last year, but I was ready to follow it up with action. I was tired of living in anxiety. It felt like anxiety was always like tugging at me, always there, just every single moment, every interaction, every relationship, every time I wanted to show up to like creativity or expression or anything. It was like anxiety was always pulling me back, and fear was, I didn't like the life that anxiety had created for me.
Mm,
So
wow. And do you think that's something that would just happen, let's say, naturally, if you didn't take control of the situation and realize what was happening? Do you think you would have gone further down with anxiety, saying that that kind of created that path right there?
yeah, yeah. I would say when I realized I had anxiety, I hadn't put a label on it. And then finally, I was like, oh my gosh, I have anxiety and I've always had anxiety. And so it helped so much to understand what I was experiencing was separate from me and it wasn't me. But then I actually started to attach to this, like, I'm an anxious person, and I started to attach to the word anxiety. So then I stopped using the word anxiety completely for several years. Only recently in the last year when I've kind of shared my stories, my story, I've reconnected with the word anxiety. But yeah, I mean, that was the breakdown. And sometimes you have to break down to break through. And I don't really think about what if I would have stayed on that path where my life would be. Um, it just, yeah, I'm just like truly grateful every day that I had the courage to say no to a lot of things, to drugs in that kind of atmosphere, to alcohol, to stuck relationships, to a job that truly wasn't serving me. I'm so grateful, like to myself, for having the courage to leave, basically.
I really like that you said the courage to say no, because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I truly believe that it's not saying yes, it's just
Mm-hmm.
not saying no in those moments, that it's just going with what else is happening around you versus listening to what's actually wanting and needing on the inside.
Yeah, I mean, because who we are at our core is alignment. So if we come home to our soul essence, our core essence, like life, that's alignment. Like that is where life feels so good. And so to me, like this whole process of coming home to self or ascension or the path to enlightenment or whatever you want to call it, it's really a path of stripping away what isn't you to come home to self, like literally cutting through the illusion so that you can come home to your heart.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. I love that you said coming to home to your heart, because our heart is so powerful. And I really love that you said that there. Let me ask this. Do you have a specific why for starting Rebirth coaching program and sharing your journey on Instagram? I love that you do that, but have you thought of a real why for this?
Oh my gosh, Beatrice, I just lit up when you said that because my why is so simple and it's so silly, but it's literally the why that gets me out of bed in the morning, that drives everything I do. And it's so simply like, I am here to play and I love the fuck out of this human experience. Like, that's it. Like, I just want to play and share my creations with others to, sure, help shift the collective into a love-based reality. Like, I can get all like woo-woo about it and like we're shifting the paradigm and all that and like thinking about my purpose on a collective scale. But honestly, like when I just simplify it, I'm like, I just love this human existence and I want to know my potential and I want to live at my edge because that's what lights me up. And when I'm at my edge, I'm in constant play mode in every area of my life, my relationships, my work, everything.
That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful because like the cheesy quote is, the cliche quote is, life is not the destination, it is the journey. And what the fuck are we doing if we're not enjoying it? If we're not having fun, adding play, what are we doing?
Totally. And now it's so funny because I'm a Virgo sun sign, an Aries moon sign, and a Gemini rising, but my Virgo sun has always attached to a plan, has always craved this plan. And right now, I was just telling you right before we got on this call is like, I don't have a plan. I just got back from 2 months in Costa Rica, really 8 months on the road because I did 6 months in like traveling around the US, road tripping, and then went to Costa Rica for a few months. And I don't really have a plan right now, and I'm just creating in the moment, but honoring my alignment and being so present in every single moment to honor that. Where it's like, I don't really feel like I need a plan. I have a vision, right? I have a vision that I hold loosely, that I play with, that is full of like color, but I'm not like grabbing it, right? I'm dancing with this vision, but I don't have this like hardcore plan, and I feel so free and aligned in exactly where I am right now. And I know there's more to this story, but of course there is, but I finally like don't need the plan. And it feels amazing to be on the other side of that attachment.
Wow, that's really empowering, knowing that you can still go forward without knowing the how or the what to get there, but still having that vision out there and knowing you're on the right way, you're on your way.
Totally. Sometimes I feel like if you don't trust, you need the how.
Mm-hmm. And I completely agree, because those two play in hand big time.
Yeah. But there's times, I mean, I'm still going in fear mode. I mean, I told you I've been back for 2 weeks, and the last 2 weeks have been really interesting, just coming back into kind of a noisier existence.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in Orlando, Florida, which is where I'm from and where my family is. And obviously it's not a huge, super busy city, but there's a lot more noise here than there was in Costa Rica, and being in that just like jungle environment where you're in so much nature and you're so balanced because of the environment that you're in. And so I would say I've been dancing with ego in an interesting way the last 2 weeks, putting pressure on myself to have that plan. And then I woke up in the last few days. I felt like there were also a lot happening in the collective atmosphere at this time, but woke up in the last few days back into alignment. And I can tell you, like, I feel home when I wake up without the plan now. But a couple days ago, it was stressing me out.
Very nice. And I can totally feel that, because sometimes you just have to ride the wave a little bit, and then you get to a better place in your mindset and opening up also to just allowing those things to come through.
Yeah, totally. Every step in fear is a step off the path, right? But if you step in love, you're always stepping back into alignment. So sometimes it's as simple, I wish I could go back and hold myself a little bit more gentler, like in a gentle way these last 2 weeks, and just say, what would love do in this moment, Danielle? Because that's what I teach. That's usually what I embody, but it doesn't mean that I don't step off that.
Oh my gosh.
Sometimes too.
it's the human experience. Like you said, it's all part of it. There are sometimes where I'll do something like stub my toe and I'm like, how the heck did you not see that there? It hasn't moved in 3 years. And then I'm like, wait a second, you're fine. Don't freak out about this. Breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep going.
Yes. Yes.
I want to dive a little deeper here. So I know that you do what is called channeling and you tap
Yes.
into the Akashic records. Can you describe a little bit exactly what that means?
Totally, I would love to. So I think of us all as a channel, right? I think about it as like we come from source energy. We're deliberate creators on this earth, and we're channels. We're channels of spirit. We're channels of creativity, of abundance, prosperity, love, a message for this earth. So I think about a lot of my work as supporting others in clearing their channel, like deeply clearing their chakras, those powerful wheels of energy that govern different aspects of your life. We typically talk about the 7 major chakras. So root chakra, sacral chakra, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, and crown. But the Akashic records basically are, think of your soul's blueprint, and even imagine a giant library in the sky with all soul records stored there, all human events, past, present, future stored there. And that exists in the quantum field, in the 0 point field. But basically what I support, and I know this is really woo woo, take what resonates, leave the rest. This stuff changed my life. And so I love sharing it. It lights me up, but it might be asking you to rise into a place that you're not quite ready to go, even just talking about it. I feel right now, actually, the energy lifting, even in our virtual space as we sit on this call, it's like because it exists in such a high frequency, when I even talk about it, I start to like kind of lift. My energy starts to lift. And so basically what I support others in doing is opening up their soul records and connecting to their soul purpose. And so that's not necessarily only connected to career or job or like message, but also like your relationships, your soulmates, your karmic contracts, etc. in this lifetime. And yeah, I mean, your Akashic masters, which are the guides that I work with and channel through channel writing, they just want to help you click in with why your soul came here to earth. Because when you click in with that purpose, you are just floating downstream and you're not like paddling furiously upstream to make your life happen. You're literally just like, you're in your alignment river of momentum, right? Like the vortex, as Abraham Hicks would say. So I love exploring people's soul records with them, and I can feel how much it lights them up as well, and how many shifts happen even in just a 1-hour call.
Wow. That was really powerful. And I love how you walked us through that, because I think the root of it all, we are souls. We're having a human experience here. And that's something that it can take a little bit of, I would say, deconditioning to get to, because we're inundated with all these messages that might not be towards our highest purpose or our highest alignment. And it can be frustrating to channel in and get to your higher version, your higher you sometimes with all that's around us. I really love that you talked about there.
Yeah, totally. I mean, to me, what matters more than anything else in this existence is being my higher self, like embodying her on earth and like living in my highest potential in every single area, in what I create and how I love and how I serve, etc. So, yeah, it's absolutely changed my life to connect to those higher dimensional planes of existence and embody that cosmic knowledge here on earth. Because awesome, you can, it's really cool if you can connect to those realms and receive downloads, but it doesn't mean anything, at least to me, unless you can really embody it in this earthly existence, like really ground cosmic knowledge into the body and into your physical life.
That's so powerful, because we are souls, but we have this fleshy body that we're living in, we're exploring, and what works here is also interacting with the physical. So being able to have actions in the day-to-day that fulfill you and move you forward, I think that's beautiful and very well said. I want to ask you, what is resonant? When you say just droplets doesn't resonate with you, I just want to know a little bit more about what that means.
Yeah. So really just checking like for your sensations in your body. Like think about your intuition voice, that deep inner knowing voice. And maybe that's in your heart or your gut. Maybe your third eye speaks to you sometimes, but I'm not talking about that busy, fear-based ego voice, right? That deeper, all-knowing voice. So for me, it's in my gut. So when I'm honestly listening to a podcast, when I'm reading a book, when I'm hearing, absorbing anything that the outside world is sharing with me, when I'm consuming other people's quote unquote noise, I'm always like typically closing my eyes because I'm such a dork, but I'm always feeling for resonance in my body. I'm feeling for that truth. So my body speaks to me a lot. I'm very clairsentient. I know that you are too, Beatrice, because we chatted with that right before we got on this recording, but I'm always feeling, because the body always knows. The body always knows. So for example, I met someone really, really special my last week in Costa Rica, and I could feel my body just like screaming at me, like, this person is home. This person is home. So the body can tell you everything. She's powerful. And sometimes the body can become addicted to things like caffeine. And so as long as you're aligned with your body and really, really listening, and you've cultivated that relationship with her and built kind of trust with her, it's a really magical relationship when you birth into that. Yeah.
Wow. I love what you said right there, because there is so much power to be had. And once we realize we can take control of that, a lot shifts.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. Like everything is inside of you. Like wherever you are listening to this, whether you're driving or sitting on your floor and doing some soul work with us here, and you have all of your answers within, and your alignment is who you are at your core. So the more that you strip away this conditioning, these limiting beliefs, these things that just aren't serving you, you're coming home to your truth. And I think about like books and podcasts and coaching courses and meditation and yoga, etc., as finding these access points within you to touch and unravel your wisdom and your truth. So we're just unlocking, like in an Akashic record session with me, like we're just unlocking your truth. It's your highest truth. And sometimes that's really powerful to hear, and people aren't necessarily ready for that. But we're unlocking truth. So my biggest question for life when I wake up every single day, which is a divinely guided question, is just, what is truth? What is my deepest truth that I can connect to in this moment? And following that in every moment.
Wow. That really hit me there. I just want to take a deep breath for a second.
Okay. Me too.
That's such a beautiful question. What is true?
So Beatrice, even right now, if you just took a deep breath, and I know I'm kind of turning it on you, but let's have some fun.
Let's do it.
If you took a breath and just kind of imagine breath as like a wave, an ocean wave, clearing your channel. And again, it runs through your central channel that runs through all of your chakras. And if you're listening right now, go ahead and do this as well. Close your eyes if you can and you're not driving, and take a deep breath to clear your channel. So it moves from the crown of your head down to your feet. And let's connect to that deeper, all-knowing intuition voice. And let's ask this question and just simply receive from our soul. Basically, just be available. So the question is, what is my truth? Beatrice, I invite you to be brave, and if you'd like to share with us what your truth is in this moment, I would love to hear.
My truth is not to play small and to speak my voice.
So beautiful. I can feel that for you. I can feel your alignment. I mean, look at you. You're at like this podcast that's flowing. You're showing up fully to it, and I can feel your alignment, sister. Seeing you.
Wow. I can tell you, I feel a little bit of electricity going through my body right now.
So can I. It's like really deep in my heart right now. So I can feel that, yeah, I can feel how heart-centered you are, and you're sharing such a really beautiful heart openness with me, and I'm really receiving that. And thank you for sharing your beautiful energy with me.
Oh, thank you so much, Dani. I love this. I really appreciate you being here. I have a few more questions with you before we go into some fun questions as well. I've
Cool.
I've heard you speak a little bit, and when I listen to you, I hear you talk about letting go and not holding on to something that doesn't serve you anymore. I know that's kind of a dance to go through, but is there anything that you found that really helps you with letting go versus holding on and knowing what doesn't serve you?
This is such a good question. Woo. Okay, it's a big question. So I'm just gonna ask my soul right now so that I can really speak from a divine place on what would serve your audience and us most to share around letting go right now. Just give me 1 second to clear my channel.
Absolutely.
You're right. Letting go is a dance, and it's a very brave dance, and it's an invitation in every moment to step into higher states of consciousness, because holding on really keeps you stuck in lower vibrational energies. I love to imagine like states of consciousness, or even like our bodies as like a house. And let's think about like the basement, being down in the basement. It's kind of dingy, it's dark, a little stuffy, cluttery. And that is the lower vibrational energies, maybe like where the ego likes to sit, right? And then let's say if we walked up those stairs, we've got the living room, which is a little bit higher perspective. And then maybe we shot up to the roof and saw things with no walls and from such a clear, expanded perspective. So for me, letting go puts me at the roof rather than holding on, which keeps me in the basement, which for me personally just is not a fun place to live. And so I just ask myself, like, Danielle, can you be brave? Can you release whatever you're holding on to? Why are you holding on to what you're holding on to? Is it for safety? Is it for security? Is it for grounding? Can you provide that for yourself? What is the energetic imbalance in your chakra system, in your body, knowing that every blockage you have is simply related to energy in some way? So can I tune in? And can I bring in these energies of like bravery and courage and trust? And can I find my edge and step and leap into the unknown? So for me, if I was stuck in the basement and kind of holding on to something like a relationship or a job or some kind of addictive behavior, whether it be drug or alcohol, or even like love and relationship can be addictive, or shopping or something like that. And what would it take for me to step onto the first step on the staircase out of this basement, right? And then you just keep stepping and you step and you step and you remind yourself that you're stepping into a brand new program that serves a higher existence. And you're going to be building momentum with every single step. And maybe you sit in the living room for a little bit and or maybe you shoot right up to the roof. But for me, I challenge myself to let go in every single moment of anything that doesn't serve my highest potential. It really comes from being so committed to her, my higher self, my highest potential, that really allows me to release any city, relationship, attachment, job, hobby, activity, friend group, etc., that doesn't serve my highest alignment.
Yeah.
I kind of channeled that a little bit, so I know it was a lot in like a few minutes, but I was feeling the flow and just spoke it.
It was everything it should have been. I love that. I love that you said committed to her. That's so moving.
I'm so committed to her. I mean, to be like brutally honest, or not brutal, but just like to be so honest, like what started this entire path was that breakdown and that Molly experience on a New York City, like New Year's Eve 4 years ago. But a couple months before that, I had seen her for the very first time, actually in my first LSD experience. And I saw her as this angel, actually this queen in the sky. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's the queen of her castle and she's amazing and she's everything that I want to be. And I realized that I could bring her down to earth. And I brought that vision down to earth and I said, I'm going to be you and nothing else really matters. And she's been guiding my entire life for the last 4 years, and she's guided me into my highest aligned path. And I'm not saying like life is perfect, but it's perfectly imperfect. And I'm right exactly where I want to be, including being on this call with you in this moment.
Yes, that is so beautiful, Dani. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. That gave me a feeling and reminded me of a quote that Alan Watts said, because I just want to say that version that you saw, that is you, correct? Yes.
Yes, she is me. And I want to embody her because she's magic. She's fucking magic.
Yes. That brought me back to a quote that really moved me that Alan Watts had. He said that the ocean and the wave is the same as the ocean, as we are the universe. We are experiencing the universe, and you just got a little glimpse of a different version of you, and it's all the same.
Exactly. Like you are her. Like unravel everything that isn't you and you are her. You are her on a deep level always. Like you are always home. She is home, right? Like you're always home. Just strip away. Cause like that's what I feel like my entire journey's been over the last, like, honestly, the last 7 years since I had like a really earth shattering breakup, like heart shattering breakup. It's like, I've been on this journey to come back home to myself and not realizing I was home the entire time. And if I could just be so brave, like how brave can you be, Daniel? If I could go back and ask myself in every moment, how brave can you be? If I could just strip everything away, just like so bravely, I would be home and feel home quicker. Then, I mean, it took me a little while, but it's been a magical journey I wouldn't trade for the world.
You got to enjoy the process.
Totally.
That's magical. I really like that a whole bunch. Let me ask you this. I've heard you talk, and I think your word choice is beautiful. I think that what you say and what you write really is casting spells and putting it out there into existence. And I love how you word things. It's really beautiful. And I've heard you say acceptance a bunch of times, but I haven't really heard you say forgiving. Is there a reason between the two?
Oh, good question. So yeah, I do talk about acceptance of what is a lot, and I feel forgiveness. Like if I visualize these as two like vibrating energies and or ribbons of light, they really dance closely to me together, and they really exist in the heart space. I mean, the first step to change is awareness, and what I believe is the second step to change is acceptance. Because a lot of times we become very aware of the things that we want to change in our lives, but then we go right into ego, we go right into judgment. We want to beat ourselves up for the ways that we've acted or the ways that we've existed, or feel that we wasted time. We want to get out of the behavior immediately, but that is all actually what keeps us literally stuck in that basement of ego if we go back to that house of consciousness. So to me, coming into acceptance is coming into peace with what is, and that has a lot of energy of forgiveness dancing with that. I've danced with a lot of forgiveness in my life, of myself, of my family, of where I come from, of the challenges that I've faced, and it feels like a very high vibrational energy to come into. It's difficult, right? I'm not saying those steps up into higher vibrational awareness and consciousness, I'm not saying it's the easiest thing, right? But it's worth it. It's worth it to come home to acceptance. It's worth it to come home to forgiveness. So yeah, I feel those energies dancing very closely together. Does that resonate with you?
Very, very much so. Very much so. I love the way that you worded that, because I really do agree that they dance right there next to each other, and they each have a part of their own. For me, forgiveness has a little just like a hint of judgment in there, just like a little dash somewhere, because I think that forgiveness, and I've been pondering on this, that forgiveness has a little bit of me judging something and saying that that was wrong or they were wrong, so I need to forgive them versus just accepting what it is. Do you feel that any also?
So good, girlfriend. Like you're expanding me right now. And what's coming through for me is like forgiveness is a very human thing, right? But if you're ready to go next level and really like embody divine self, like higher self, which is always you, but if you want to come home to higher vibrational states of consciousness, it's acceptance. So I completely resonate with you. I felt the lower vibration of forgiveness as we started to talk about that, and I felt just like how that's like a very human thing. Like that's an earlier step on the path. It's difficult still. Mm-hmm. But acceptance is the higher vibrational step for sure.
I totally feel that. I really like that you put the words to the two, that they're different vibration there, because I really do believe that they, like you said, they coexist with each other, but they have just a little bit of a different flavor with each other.
Totally. And you know what? In the heart space, in the heart chakra, I like to think there's like two different chambers. So like a divine love chamber and like an earthly love chamber. Mm-hmm. And so it almost feels like forgiveness might exist as like a key that unlocks like freedom in the earth chamber, where the acceptance is like a next level sort of, like unlocking of the higher self in the heart, like the divine love chamber.
So lovely, because I really think I like 100%, like I'm right there with you. I really do agree that it's different levels that we can access and we can progress and go along. And sometimes we'll take a couple steps back, something new happens, new life experience, new human dilemmas, and then challenge that, and we have courage to go forward.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Forgiveness. It's like the earth chamber in the heart is green and the divine love chamber is, in the heart is pink. So it's almost like acceptance as this pink ribbon and forgiveness as this green ribbon, and they're dancing together. Very visual, and obviously love to dance with energy in the chakras. So thanks for letting me dork out a bit.
That was lovely. Absolutely beautiful. I love that. I got the vision in my head as you were speaking about it also. And I think as a collective, everyone's probably feeling a change right now also, because I've been talking to people in regular day life and someone will say something and I'm like, ooh, tell me more. Why'd you use that word? And it's really interesting to hear what people are saying about the energy shifting.
Yeah, and even relating to what we've been talking about right now, acceptance and forgiveness, like we are all like the planet is waking up. We are waking up, and it's such an exciting time. People are waking up to their gifts, their strengths, their purpose, their soul, and aligning their lives with this more like divine purpose. And it's such an exciting time for me, but and for everyone, for the earth. But it almost feels like the old paradigm, like maybe we would be talking about forgiveness. And now with these new shifts, we're talking more about acceptance.
Yes. Yes. I completely feel that. I really do. And I watch your practice on Instagram. I love stalking you, by the way. And you do a lot of journaling practice. I love the tangible. I love the hand to paper. Let me ask you, is that where you find a lot of divine guidance when you're actually channeling and writing down?
Like on my yoga mat?
Yeah, just when you're putting pen to paper. Is that
pen to paper? I wasn't sure if because I do a lot of flows with writing on my mat, but yeah, I mean, I am always writing, especially when I'm deep in it, right? When I'm having one of those weeks, like I had such a week around the Virgo full moon in February. I was in Costa Rica and I was in paradise and I was just in it. I could feel that I was in it. I was in it as in like I was unraveling ego. That's what I kind of mean when I'm like, I'm sitting in the basement a little bit, but I'm supposed to be there, right? I know I'm supposed to learn something in that basement. The basement's not a bad place to be. There's just a lot of lessons, right? A lot of lesson containers. I've been thinking a lot about lesson containers, and sometimes we need to affirm to the universe, like, okay, I learned this lesson, and the universe like, well, did you really learn it? And you're like, yeah. And so you can actually close this container, this lesson container, and you can sit in lesson containers for years, right? But I love to write. I love to channel write, especially when I'm in it. So I teach that. It's one of my favorite things to teach because you have non-physical guides dancing around you at all times. You have animal spirits, you have Akashic masters, which are more like soul purpose. You have angels, et cetera, et cetera. So like, to me, it's just, I want to know how they want, what they're seeing from their perspective. And I want to get it in a really practical way. Right? Because I can close my eyes, I can see 444, I can feel the angels are talking to me, I can close my eyes, I can receive the download, and I'm like, okay, cool, like, what do I do with that? But channel writing, I ask for practical guidance on how I can embody it on earth. And that's what I always get from my Akashic masters. So to me, it's just, I used to channel my soul and my intuition. I still do all the damn time, but going next level to me is really tapping into these divine beings that I can channel really high level divine intelligence from, and work at the level of source versus the level of soul. And really those are dancing together, but
it's just a different perspective. Is that what you would say between the soul versus going a little bit higher?
Yeah, like, okay, I know I'm such a dork with this house of consciousness analogy, but let's say we're sitting on the roof, like we're in the soul, but let's say there's this like channel that opens up that you can just fly into and really connect and go like cosmic, like just travel, these interdimensional travel, right? And dance with these beings that vibrate at just these high levels that we can't even really connect to sometimes on earth, because we're vibrating with lower vibrational frequencies that keep us more like dense, right? This is such a fun conversation, by the way. I'm like so giddy and I feel like I'm a child and just talking about the universe and like, oh my gosh, so fun.
Yeah.
But I just just going higher. Like the more selfish, like you have to be selfish enough to get into alignment with who you are. But once you've really aligned with your soul, you can really align deeper with your collective purpose, which to me is more like an alignment with like source, where you have your individual soul purpose and then you have your collective purpose working at the level of source energy.
Wow. I got a full visual as you were talking, because I think it's sparking when you're doing one and you're filling yourself up, and like you said, being that selfish, being able to do that, because sometimes it can be a little bit of something you have to put focus on. I don't want to say work, but it's something that you have to put focus on yourself versus everything else that's pulling your attention. And
right.
It's so beautiful when you do that, because when you do that, you're in alignment. Then you're able to activate so much more and give so much more, because you're tapping into something else at that point.
Right. I mean, everything internally is expending energy, just like everything externally is expending energy. So when you really clear your like when you really clear your chakras and rebirth them into higher states of consciousness, when you truly like release your pain body, which is all the old accumulated emotional pain that's never been dealt with and it's been stored in the body, when you really like clear your channel, you have so much energy to just give and share, and you're not like trying to figure your life out, because you now are able, you work from such a clear, aligned place, from such a trusting place, that you're able to serve. You're really able to serve.
Wow. I like that you said pain body there for a moment, because it almost sometimes I feel like I can tap into I would say almost a different me, one that is aware of a little bit more painful, and washing through that version of me and clearing that through version of me, either through crying or movement or something like that. It makes me feel more me, because I've cleared out a different version of me that's holding on to that.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I love that. It's like we have these emotional suitcases stored in our chakra systems, right? So maybe we have one stored in the heart that's been blocking the heart. Maybe we have, wherever we have it stored, it's causing different experiences on earth, wherever our blockages are, and blocking us in different ways. But it's like opening the suitcase and, actually wherever y'all are, maybe you're taking notes in your journal right now, I highly recommend or invite you, or would love to share this with you, to do like a soul session, a deep feeling session with yourself. And maybe you like draw a bath and you sit in the bath, or you make some kind of cozy environment around you, set your ambiance, light a candle, make some hot tea, and just do like a feeling session with yourself, and close your eyes and meditate into the body. And maybe you kind of feel a blockage in, let's just say, the heart, and you connect to this, like, let's just say, suitcase of emotion, and you start to open this suitcase, and a resentment starts to pop out, and judgment starts to pop out, and you're like, okay, let's first work with the energy of resentment. You're allowed to sit at my table right now. Let's have some tea. I'm going to have some tea with the energy of resentment. And just understanding, like, what's the message of the emotion, And so that emotion can really be released, because when the body's speaking to you, it wants to tell you something. And a lot of times we stuff that emotion, right? Like, let's just say we go through a breakup and we don't want to show our emotion, or we don't feel comfortable completely expressing ourselves in this moment, and our heart's been shattered. I'm speaking from personal experience right now. And so I stored all this deep emotion in my heart in this suitcase, this sadness. And instead of letting the moment, like letting the emotion like move through me, it released inside of me. And so now I'm finding myself, as I invite new love into my life, I'm finding my heart open, and I'm meeting this sadness, honestly, as I'm unpacking the suitcase, and it was stored in my heart. And I'm so grateful to be in a new partnership with somebody that can hold space for that. But no matter where you're at in your life, if you're just kind of doing you and doing some deep soul sessions with self, like drop in, have, a little play date with your feelings and your body, really, because you're going to come home to your body in a deeper way the more that you do these kind of experiences.
I really like that you said play date, because emotions, we give them this kind of like sticky, hard, really not fun to deal with attitude. And then if you kind of have a play date, or like you said, sit down with a cup of tea, that's a different perspective to look at it. It's something that we can view a little bit better, not have to be in more so.
Yeah. I mean, why I do my coaching, and what I feel I really share with my coaching groups, is like, healing can be an adventure. Healing can be play. Healing, alignment, whatever you want to call it, coming home to self, like ascension, like whatever you want to call it, this damn human journey, dancing with the soul, coming home to self, like it can be so much fun. And it's like, emotions are just energy. They are just energy, emotion, energy and motion in the body. So life is a dance of energy. Dance with the energy, show up to yourself in every single moment, honor your body, listen to your body. And like, life becomes more blissful the more that you unpack these old stories and these suitcases of emotions, and you strip away this programming, and you start to vibrate in a higher way. And life up there, like think about those higher vibrational emotions, right? Everybody wants to feel like joy, purpose, gratitude, compassion, lightness, etc. We all want to live up there, but it takes the journey through the quote unquote darker emotions, the basement, right? Honor your journey, honor where you are, and show up fully to the work. And it's so worth it. It's so worth it.
I love everything you just said, and ending it with just worth it, that hit me there, because we are worth it. We are worth the little bit of a challenge, and having that courage to step up into a higher place.
Hell yeah. We are so worth it. You're worth it.
Yes.
I'm worth it.
You're worth it. We're worth it. Every single person listening is worth it. You are worth it. And I think we should say that out loud.
Mm-hmm.
I am worth it.
Jinx.
Yep. Love it. Oh, yes. I'm going to take one more deep breath, and I want to ask you one more question.
Okay.
This one's a little loaded.
Ooh, let's do it.
Yep. I want to know what love means to you.
Ooh, I'm like picturing a waterfall, which is so weird. Okay. It's power, it's strength, it is emotion, it's depth, it's leaping, right? Top of the waterfall. If you were leaping into this pool underneath, it's being at the edge, it's living at the edge, it's vulnerability, it's strength, it's courage, it's boldness. It's asking yourself in every moment, what would love do here? How fully can I show up to this moment in love? Like, love in its highest expression in every moment. What could that look like? It's truth. It's higher existence. It's living with purpose on earth. It's showing up when you don't feel like it. It's taking rest when you need it. It's honoring the self. Because if you're always honoring yourself, you are honoring the world, because we are all one, and we are all dancing energy, and we're dancing in this like beautiful earth together. And yeah, those are some of the words that came to mind. And the visual was a waterfall, which actually connects to a recent experience I had in Costa Rica with this person that I met, and I had 20 hours with, and fell in love with him because we hiked down to a waterfall, and That is so funny that that experience came up, but it's this word that I'll never be able to define, and I will always be seeking to define it in the most beautiful journey, the most playful journey of seeking to define it.
That is so lovely. Your words gave me a vision as well. I felt like you were speaking me up right there when you were giving me all those beautiful words on what you thought love meant. That was so inspiring, and I really felt that. That was lovely. And now I just have some fun questions, some little lighthearted questions.
Let's do it, girlfriend.
Awesome. Do you have a favorite animal, or maybe like a spirit animal, an animal that you've seen recently?
Okay, I'm gonna like say two because these two are like my spirit animals for sure. So tiger,
Ooh.
which is a lot of like courage and boldness, but also a little bit of like kind of loner. And yeah, tiger, I call on tiger when I want courage and strength. And then the fly, actually, which is so interesting. It's like rapid change, rapid transformation. And I call on the fly when I am feeling a little bit stagnant and kind of, I love to grow. And when I'm in a stagnant place, I'm like, okay, where's my next edge? And I've been learning to dance with a comfort a little bit. These last 2 weeks, I'm a little bit more comfortable here in Orlando, family around. So understanding there are periods to be in comfort, but I'm also calling on the fly right now because I'm ready to find my new edge. I'm ready to create this new vision and step into it. So yeah.
I want to tell you, when you said fly, I got an immediate image of like a kaleidoscope, because I just remembered how they look out. Their vision of the world is like a totally different perspective.
Ooh, yeah. Now I'm like feeling it and seeing that too. Cool.
Beautiful. Is there a color that you've been drawn to or maybe find yourself wearing more?
Emerald green right now. And I think that means that I'm like kind of deepening my relationship with love in this earthly existence. And I love the color green. I've always loved the color green. I've gone through, like, green has always been my favorite color, but I go through like different phases of like enjoying different shades of green. And right now it's emerald green.
Ooh, love that. Nature, connecting to all of it. That's beautiful. And different shades of green. I just want to put a fact here that I just recently learned that blew my mind. Green is the one color we can see the most shades of.
Ooh, I love that. That's so fun. I'm staring outside and seeing a lot of greenery right now. And when I said emerald green, I actually went back to that waterfall visual that you beautifully kind of ignited for me. And I'm seeing emerald water down below.
Ooh, I think that's refreshing. That's the feeling that I'm getting from this vision.
It's like a depth. What I feel like emerald versus like a lighter green. It's like this depth to me. It's like maybe you can't see the bottom, and maybe I'm ready to not see the bottom. I've always been kind of scared of the ocean, and I think it's symbolic for a lot of, in many ways, and it's also like not being able to see. It's kind of drowning with no one able to save me. It's the power of the ocean, right? Fearing my own power. But now as I start to really fall in love with this emerald green color, it's because I'm really ready to live at the depths and not have to see anymore.
Yes, tap into it. Beautiful. Are there any books that you're listening to or reading right now, or any podcasts that you're listening to?
Well, what's so funny is I'm actually reading my very favorite book in the entire world over again. It's called Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. This book changed everything for me. It was that time 4 years ago when I was really living in anxiety and ready to change my life. I read that book and I loved it so much that I actually bought like 30 copies on Amazon for like everyone that I knew and was friends with and my family, to the point where Amazon like cut me off. It's like, you can't buy any more books. So I'm coming back. I'm coming home to that book again, and I'm seeing it with new eyes 4 years later.
It's so lovely to do that because you're a different person when you reread it, and there's different things that you get from it.
Totally.
Lovely. Going Netflix shows or any shows that you're watching right now?
Oh my gosh, you guys are gonna think I'm ridiculous, but I pretty much only watch Friends, the sitcom Friends, all the time, over and over for the 100th time. Like I have watched the whole entire Friends series like over and over and over and over, and I'm back at like episode 3 or 4 and just recently restarted.
Awesome. The Friends has been a go-to for me. I will tell you, I definitely cried when it ended. Like, definitely sobbed. I was like, there's gonna be no more.
Yeah, I know. It's like my comfort. You know, that's like one way that I think I really seek comfort is through music and shows. And especially when I was traveling for the last 8 months, it was a way that I really connected to just a sense of home.
That's lovely because that's something easily you can just tap right into again.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
It's a vibration of home for me, for sure.
I can see that. I can totally feel that. So I actually saw just recently that you posted on Instagram, no more coffee. So are you drinking tea or something else now replacing that with?
I love kombucha. I love coffee so much. I really do. But I have been telling the universe I want to go to the next level, and the universe is like, okay, well, this, and this are habits that are keeping you at the level that you're at. I think of life as like this video game. I know I keep talking about levels, and again, I'm such a dork, but I think about it like, okay, we're on this level. I'm pretty comfortable at this level. There's some things keeping me stuck at this level, but I know this level, right? I know the pain at this level. I have my allies at this level, but I want to go to the next level. And so I'm stepping in this staircase to go to the next level. And one of those steps is for like releasing an attachment to coffee. It's not, I don't feel addicted to coffee. I just love it for pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's time to, I think what I'm hearing is like activating discipline and honoring my body because she doesn't love coffee. So I love kombucha. I love hot lemon water in the mornings. I'm super simple. Yeah, water with lemon.
Yes.
That's me.
Yes, hydrate the body. It's necessary.
Totally. And I like the taste with lemon in it, especially.
Yeah, it adds a little something, right?
Totally.
Just a little. I'm going to tell you, my go-to is bubbly water. I love sparkling water. I was a hardcore soda addict a few years ago. Realized that wasn't serving me, but I love the carbonation.
Yeah. I go through phases of enjoying sparkling water too.
Oh,
Do you put any fruit in it ever? Like get fancy?
I have, yes, yes. I was looking, this was maybe like 2 weeks ago. I put dried fruit in it and that was fun.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah, it was great. It was like something delicious, like, ooh, this is something extra in there then.
Yeah.
Last question. Do you have a favorite season?
Ooh, I went to fall.
Yeah.
I went straight to fall. October is my very favorite month. It's such a playful month with Halloween and carving pumpkins, and the weather's usually pretty good. I mean, I've been where was I last fall? I spent a lot of time in Arizona and Austin, Texas, and then I went and did the redwoods toward the middle of November. And yeah, everywhere I've ever spent fall, I've really enjoyed the weather there, and I love the like leaves falling on the trees. I love those earthy tones, the colors. Yeah, it's fall and specifically October.
Ooh, I love what you said about October, and that's such a time of transition. Very beautiful.
Definitely.
And Dani, I just want to tell you, I've enjoyed this so much. I really have.
Me too. It was so much fun. I feel like we just played, and that's exactly what was in alignment for both of us in this co-creation. So thank you so much. I'm like truly honored that you asked me and that you held space for this, and I really appreciate you.
I appreciate you, and I want you to tell us, what are you up to right now, and where can people find you?
Okay. What am I up to? Well, I am literally after this call going and doing my first call for Rebirth, my 12-week energy alignment course. So that's kicking off, and I was literally like dancing right before I got on this call because I just have so much energy that always comes into my field when I'm like beginning these journeys with all these amazing women that I'm leading and have the pleasure of leading in this experience. Let's see, I'm going to a business conference in Arizona next week, which I'm really excited about. It feels like a very like masculine, like grounded business conference that's going to really support me in going to the next level in business. I'm really excited about that. I'm stepping into photography. I really invested in a high level camera right before I went to Costa Rica. And so I've been playing with doing shoots for friends and people here locally that have small businesses to help them with their branding. And I've really enjoyed that. So those are kind of just some things that are happening in my world. And then where you can find me. So I'm a big Instagram dork. I share my life on Instagram because it's play to me. So I'm Dani Dillard, Dani Dillard, Dillard on Instagram. I do my darndest to message back everybody. So feel free to like say hi if you vibed with this podcast episode and would love to connect with you. Like why I do this is connection. And yeah, so I'd love to meet you. And I think that I'm complete there.
Yes, I love that you said that. Connection is key. That's what all of this is. It's about connecting, creating our little soul family, and getting in touch with each other.
Totally. I'm on board with that.
Thank you, Dani. I appreciate you, and all her links will be in the show notes. So, guys, I appreciate you all so much for being here, and from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you.
Thank you for sharing your amazing heart with me, Beatrice. I appreciate you so much.
Oh, thank you, Dani. I appreciate it.
Wow, that was such a powerful chat. I loved having Dani on the podcast. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here and spending time with us. Check out the show notes, click on the links. If you're in iTunes, give us a rating and review on there. It means the world to me. Seriously, I'll give you infinite hugs forever if you do that for me. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. I'm going to talk to you guys soon and have a fucking fantastic week.